Hello, YouTube. This is a different video than I usually make, lately especially. I usually make videos with the tractor or something. This is a little different one. I don't know if you can see back there. I hope I've got the camera pointed in the right direction. But I've got an Explorer on the trailer, and I am taking it to a secure location. Long story short, it's my wife's, and as you can see in the title, it got stolen. So today's Thursday. It got stolen Monday morning about 8 o'clock. She was dropping the kids off for daycare, and both kids were with her in daycare, going to their rooms, and she came back out to the car, and there was no car. So what had happened is they had security video, and somebody dropped a person off, and they started basically walking the line of cars at daycare. I didn't see the video, so I can't comment on how many there were or whatever, but regardless, they hopped in my wife's car and took off. And we didn't have Ford Pass set up on our car, so we couldn't track it. And of course, for some reason they denied it when we tried to set it up. I don't know what they were thinking. But we were able to track it with her phone for a little bit because her phone was in there. Once they ditched her phone, tracking was basically down to the credit card purchases they were making. So, if you've ever had this situation, you're always one step behind in that scenario. So they made their way across the metro a lot Monday, quite a few different stores and stuff. Once we got all the credit cards locked, purchases stopped, obviously, and tracking kind of went blank, went dead end at that point. They had footage of her, so they, knew what she looked like, yada, yada, yada. So anyway, Monday, rough day. And then Tuesday came around, didn't hear too much. Talked to the police a little bit. They had some leads they were checking out. At that point, nothing else was heard Tuesday on our end. So really, it was kind of we figured it was gone. As you can see behind me, it's not gone. So we got it back. So Wednesday midday, I get a call from the police. They located it at a hotel. It was locked. I went down there to get it. My wife met me there. She took my truck back to work. I drove her car home. It was just absolutely disgusting. It had a bunch of stolen clothes and Amazon packages, and just they'd smoked in it. Did the DRUGS in it. Found needles and stuff. So I don't know what I can say on the YouTube or not, but it wasn't a pretty sight. So basically, I know this is a lot of me talking, but the reason I'm making this video is, hopefully somebody can learn from this experience. Whether it be from the, standpoint of always make sure your car is locked, keys aren't in it. No matter how comfortable you get in a situation, because it was a good part of town that she was in. We were the unlucky ones that it happened to that day, and I don't know, car thefts is on the rise. One, because it's getting warmer out, and I think just in general they've been on the rise lately. So, if you can take something away from that, that side of it. Also, the ability, set up the stuff to be able to locate your car. Whether that be the onboard GPS or, like Ford. I don't know. I'm new to Ford, so I don't know a ton about it. But Ford Pass, you can see the address or whatever the vehicle's at. I use it on my truck. But also, have an AirTag. The Apple AirTags are awesome. We didn't have one. I have 3 sitting in my office. Didn't have one in there. We just didn't think it would happen to us. So, that the second point, if you can, and most, things are cheap these days and easy to come by, especially the Apple AirTags. Put one of those in the car. It'll tell the person that it's not connected with that it's there, but it may deter them from moving the car, and you'll see where it was at the last location. Just to kind of wrap it up, I might make a video to kind of go over what happened to the car, but to wrap this video up, just in short, always be vigilant and don't get too comfortable with the situation that you're in, and because that's when things happen. I mean, it just is. And the crappy part is they've got our address, they have the key fob to our car, which is why I'm taking it to not our address. The car is disgusting, and now that they cut the seatbelts out and some other stuff, but the car, it's not totaled. If you look at it, it runs, but it blows smoke out now. So there's just a lot of stuff that they did to it it's just, I don't know why people work like they do in that scenario, but they do, and there's people out there, they're just bad people. We've heard that the person they think it is not a good, upstanding citizen. And it's just a really unfortunate situation for everybody, because now we have, in the meantime, we've got to find a car. I think thankfully we're fortunate enough to be able to borrow one of our parents' vehicles in the time being, instead of having to rent one. Our insurance covers a little bit of the rental, but it doesn't cover the whole thing. So I think we're just going to borrow a car until we, insurance decides what they're going to do with this car. So I'm interested to see what happens. Everybody's been really good to work with, and if somehow you see this, I really appreciate all the work that they've done, and that they recovering, them finding it, getting it back to us, and just being so helpful in this crappy situation that we're in. I really do appreciate that, and I know my wife does. And the unfortunate thing about this whole thing is that if they catch this person, then the time, jail time is an option. But the realistic part of it is it's not a violent crime, and the person is probably going to get off, with little to more than a slap on the hand. They're just going to be out there doing this again. So, if the justice system doesn't hold them accountable, we ourselves have to make sure we are prepared and to not let it happen. And you can do that by got something in my and you can do that by always being vigilant of your surroundings, and don't get comfortable with a certain routine. Always lock your car and turn it off, and take the key or key fob out, or a lot of cars now are pretty high tech. So just always be vigilant. So God bless. All right, I'm back for one last thing. I just thought of this. I thought of it earlier, and then I lost my thought, and now it's back. I think this is a really important point as well. So when they stole the car, my wife's purse was in there with all her credit cards, and that's how we kind of tracked them throughout the city for a while. But yesterday, so we got the car back midday Wednesday, and then sometime yesterday they tried to go to one of the stores that they went to Monday and got away with like $600 worth of stuff. They tried to go back to buy more stuff because that card, my assumption is that card was the last one that worked where they were able to purchase stuff. So they were going to try it again, because kind of what the trend seemed to be is they would use the card. Once it got declined, they would go to a new card. So that card was the last one they had gotten away with buying stuff and, made out the door with it before they were notified by the police, or the store was. So they went back to the store Wednesday and tried to purchase more stuff. Well, on Monday, that card was shut off, and it was a card for that store. So that store put a security alert on the card. So if it was used again, the cashier was supposed to, or the cashier or whoever, whatever, if it was online, it would alert them, hey, this is fraud, that type of thing. So they went to the store in person, tried to buy a bunch of stuff with that card, and the security alert came up. And the detective told me that the cashier, instead of alerting security like it was supposed to, they were just like, oh, sorry, your card has a security alert. It won't let you or pay for it with it. So, of course, these thieves, when they were made aware of that, they dropped everything and just ran. And, so that's kind of a whole nother side of this story. Like, train your employees to know what to do in those situations, because it happens more often than not, or more often than you would think, probably, is kind of the vibe I've been getting when over talking to the police and over the last few days, experiencing this situation. So for what it's worth, I'm not blaming it on the employee by any means. That's a tough situation. Like, that's a bad situation for the employee to be in, because these people who do this are not good people. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just, if this can help somebody, that's the reason I'm putting it out there. Maybe our situation can make somebody aware of a similar situation, or just be more vigilant. Make sure you don't get comfortable. Make sure you say something when you see something. Anyway, it's a learning situation. It's a crappy situation for one way or the other, but we learn from it, and we're going to be better from it. So I'll leave you here with that, and hope you all have a wonderful day, wonderful week, wonderful month, wonderful life. Maybe this is the only video you watch that I make. Have a wonderful life. Make somebody's day a better day.